Hello, everybody. It's Thursday afternoon and it's time for the Perspective Shifters. And I'm Erin Strayer. And I just wanted to pop in here and say hi and thank you so much for being here. I am an accelerated business strategist. I focus on strategic implementation and growth for female entrepreneurs, helping you get clear and focused program alignment because that's so super important. It optimizes and leverages you and your business. And it ultimately results in obtaining better clients and increasing your engagement and your outcomes. So that's me in a nutshell. And today we are talking with the amazing, I might get a little choked up here talking about this lady. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this lady that's smiling on the other side of here today because it's her birthday and she is having a fantastic day today. But my life forever changed last September. I was in a bar in Coral Gables, Florida, and was buying a cup of coffee, and this beautiful lady happened to just stroll through from the pool, and I offered to buy her a cup of coffee. And in that moment, my life changed forever. In that one moment in a cup of coffee. So this lady is the former CEO of Keller Williams Realty. She's an attorney. She's an author. She's the owner of Not Your Average Joe Coffee House and JMM Consulting. Okay? She is one heck of a force to be reckoned with, people. I'm not even kidding you. She is dynamic. She is foot forward. She is a powerhouse of a coach. She challenges you to check yourself through a different lens and to look at things differently. And to see what those little details are, and she finds those and points those out and kind of shifts and changes you. And today we're talking about how to incorporate travel into your business model. So it's my pleasure, my dear pleasure, to introduce to you Jeneen Musih. And I just want you guys to wish her happy birthday today too. And we're just going to go through here and have fun and say hi. And hi, honey, how are you?
Thank you so much for that over-the-top gracious intro. Thank you. The pleasure was all mine. Over the cup of coffee, you had me at hello. So no doubt about that. As you and I have talked about a couple of times, there were a couple of big takeaways from that conference, and meeting you was definitely one of those. So thank you very much. I'm very honored to be part of your program today.
Oh, yay! Yay! So we're talking about how to incorporate travel into your business model. And I know that's a huge part of your world. And I just want you to talk to our people today. And I want, hey, Kristen, how are you? I just want you to talk about why that's so pivotal and important to incorporate that into your actual business model. It's not just a random thing that you throw in and do every now and then.
Yeah, right. No, it's a fundamental part of my business plan. So I'll take a step back a little bit. I had, like many people, been committed and had some leadership positions that really required me to be first in, last out, brick and mortar kind of concept. And my sweet spot is growing people. In my mind, I wanted to figure out how could I touch and grow more people. So I was doing a lot of turnaround with companies that I would work with, and I took a step back and really wanted to create a different model for myself. So part of my business model is I travel 3 to 4 months of the year, every year, on purpose, planned as part of my business model. So as like for many people, technology like we're enjoying today, hey Joy, I see that she popped on, friend of mine. It is that piece of me that, number one, reminds me that I'm no longer limited to 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or whatever those days would end up being for me. I wanted time and money freedom, and I wanted to impact the world in a bigger way. So I wasn't looking at contracting. I wanted to look at expanding, but I wanted to do it on my terms.
Mm.
And, like with so many people, until you do it, you don't know what's possible. I'm a big proponent of failing forward.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's scary for all of us. And I set off 3 years ago and began doing that, and my whole life changed. The freedom to do that does a couple of things for me. The first is it challenges every assumption I have. So as you know, it's always an adventure in itself. So imagine taking that and resetting everywhere you are, right? So I travel to remote places a lot of times because I believe in adventurous travel. And I'm happy to say there's really good internet around most of the world today.
That's nice to have that, yeah.
So yeah, that challenging of assumptions, doing something on the fly really makes you sharper, more focused, because you have to make it happen. You have to show up in a different way. That changed me. It changed the way I look at my clients and their challenges and their needs. And I try to be a living example for those I work with that it isn't easy, but it doesn't mean it's not awesome.
Right.
It's the journey. And so that's a big, big part of what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crucial to identify that also. The fact that you have to accommodate to all those different environments when you're traveling. Yes. All the different the demographics and the people and how you hook in, and gosh, even so much down to the different plugs, in your hotels, and how do you make it work?
Yes. Right. And and like I mentioned, failing forward, and it happens because it's not being perfectly prepared, but it's knowing how to adjust when the unexpected happens. And I think that is the message for all of us, right? In all of our different disciplines. It's really the core component of success.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yep.
So why was it, has travel always been a part of your business model?
It's always been a part of my personal model. We'll be a little bit vulnerable here. So my relationships, back in the day, I was an international relations major when I got my BA. And the joke was I went for the BA and I left with an international guy. So, and that's where I had met my husband. And he is, I shouldn't say was, he's no longer my husband. He is still half Indian, half British. And so that was a very interesting part. And we both, because he grew up abroad and I had a childhood that was a priority, travel was a priority, was something that I had done exchange programs and really learned to function and live in different countries with different cultures and expectations. So it had always been a personal piece for me. Most recently, in my beautiful love relationship today, I have a fantastic boyfriend from Peru. So different part of the world, no less exciting. But I think that's right. You see yourself better when you're looking at other people. It's a compare and contrast. Mm-hmm. Oh, that? What do I think? Sometimes we don't even know what we think.
Right?
So paying attention, really listening, honing in on the details. So travel had been part of my life. I had traveled for work, but nothing this exciting. I guess I did some out-of-country work when I was in my corporate attorney days, real estate. We worked in Puerto Rico, so I would travel during the week and come home on the weekends. So that,
gotcha.
But not like I do today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you travel like 3 to 4 months out of the year.
Yes.
And that's part of your business model.
Yes.
Meaning that you continue to coach while you are traveling, right?
I never take vacation. So in my children's words, Mom, you're always working, and Mom, you never work. And both ways, right?
Right.
And that's the life that I've chosen. So yes, there's a baseline, my private clients that I work with. Many times they don't even know where I am. We work on a conference platform. So I have access, I don't know, 165. It can either come in through internet or phone. I can create local numbers. I can make that work for myself. And, and then occasionally we also do the face-to-face Skype or whatever. It doesn't matter which platform, but they'll see something in the background and they'll be like, wait, what's that palm tree? What's that? I didn't see that. You're not in your office today. Oh, no, in Ecuador today, or in Italy, or somewhere else. But yeah.
So that's very much an implemented part of your business model. And that allows you and I had talked about that before, and you feel that it allows you to stay in a place of awe. And that statement really struck me when you said that. And I was like, that's interesting to think about that and why and how you take that place of awe and incorporate that into your coaching. It's on purpose, really. Yeah.
It's very intentional. So I'm a transformation coach. That means I work cross industry. And people they've identified where they are and where they may want to be. What I know is that our minds work differently when we're in a place of awe and wonder. Creativity happens.
Yeah.
We're more solution-based. We're out of the box. It changes us. When we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change.
Ooh,
so that's that place where whether, and it's different for different people. Today's my birthday. I'm 51, and I'm not shy to say I'm in a constant place of awe and wonder. As you know, Erin, I just got back day before yesterday from Bonn, where I was doing a really, really cool scuba diving trip. And I had only become scuba certified last August at the request of my daughter, right? So, when your young 20s daughter asks you to do something, you try to jump in. I do. So we did that in South Beach, Miami. And later it was very interesting. So purpose, and we talk about intention and being conscious of things. So later I thought, well, I'm certified, but I hadn't gone on any dive trips. I did 5 dives when you get certified. And then I'm starting to think about things. And one of my intentions for this year, out of 3, because I have 3 main categories every year, and one was to collaborate and celebrate with my tribe. So I have hand-selected a very diverse, interesting, inspiring group of people, one of which is an avid scuba diver who has done thousands and thousands of dives at the most exotic, cool places around the world.
No kidding.
I was going to a cocktail party I was invited to that he was hosting. And as the cocktail party was winding up, I had thought a couple days before, because whenever I think of him, I think about scuba diving. And I thought, God, someday I'd love to go on a trip with him. And then I quickly laughed, in that little voice, that talks to you in your head. It says, don't be ridiculous. Way too experienced to want to go on a scuba diving trip with you. Okay? So I put myself in check, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's true. And then I went to this party, and at the end of the party, he said, hey, Jeneen, I want to ask you something. I said, yeah, sure. He said, I rented a house in Bonaire for the month of June, and I would love to have you and Jose come diving with us. I'm like, are you kidding me? Right? So because I have this business that I do, because my business model is to stay in that place, I was excited. I was nervous, right? Like, this is a real diver. I'm like a baby diver. I'm like a baby diver. And so done thousands of dives. His girlfriend was there. She had done 75 dives. And he had said to her, yeah, you and Jeneen, you're about the same level. And then we're talking. And I'm like, I have done 5 dives prior to this trip. Okay, 5. So for 6 days, we dove every day, and they were doing 4 dives a day. I did 2 to 3 a day. But think of the numbers on that, right? And we had done 110 feet. We did all kinds of beach diving. It was challenging, gorgeous. We did night dives. Awe and wonder. Awe and wonder. And then I also wondered about my strength and resiliency, right? So promptly when I got back, I, as you know, I went through a major weight transformation personally myself a couple of years back. Well, I hired a personal trainer this week because I need to be a little stronger if I'm going to be participating in these kinds of activities. So the personal growth, I'm all about what inspires you out of your natural place of joy. And I very much live my life like Hansel and Gretel, where you find the cookie, you pick it up, and you say, oh, there's another cookie. What's that about? And take it in baby steps. Big vision, but you still only can do one day at a time, right?
Yeah.
One moment at a time. It's task over time. Big things come from that disciplined task over time. So that's what I knew. I know there'll be a lot of pain involved. I'm doing 3 sessions a week, 3 1-hour sessions a week for 12 weeks.
Wow!
I will be transformed again. So if it doesn't scare you, it's probably not good.
Right?
Yes.
I was just talking about that yesterday. Do one thing every single day that scares the living poo out of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah, no doubt about it. So, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. So, Aaron, I do these things not as a way to say, oh, look at me, look what I'm doing. I do and share these things as a way of saying, if that woman can do this, anybody can do this, right? I'm not incredibly athletic. I'm not that strong or that big, right? I'm a pretty small person. And if she can do that, right? And I'm not 20 something, right? 51 today. I probably have something in common with just about everybody. It's 51. I haven't reached 50 yet. It's so good. You'll wish you did it sooner. So 50 was the best year of my life. Just say. So anyway, sharing's a big deal. And at the risk of, sounding braggy, it's not. But when I'm excited, I want to share that. I just want people to find, for me, it's the beach. I want them to find their beach. I want them to find that place. And it is called inspired living. Oh, I see we have Ashley with us.
Hi, Ashley.
So, coming from an inspired place tends to bring a different energy. And you have different results. And that all leads back to, because I work with a lot of business people, and you got to bring that to the table. Why does it matter? Why does anything matter? So figuring out your significance, it's important.
It's huge.
It's so
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Blue Mind a little bit?
Yes, I do. I do. It's my favorite thing. I'm always talking about Blue Mind. So, so here. It's the little blue marble. So there's something called the Blue Marble Project that you can check out online, bluemarbleproject.com. It's also Blue Mind. You can find it on Facebook. You can just Google it.
The bluemarbleproject.com?
Yes. And then you can look for Blue Mind. So Blue Mind is the name of a national bestseller, New York Times bestseller list. Is written by, what I can now say is written by a really good friend of mine by the name of Wallace J. Nichols. He is a marine biologist. In this book, he looked at where in, near, or on the water are happier, healthier, more productive, and creative. That really fascinated me. As a coach, understanding that we get to choose our environments.
Yeah.
Totally. How I'm sitting, what my desk, like everything I get to choose. Knowing that that has a major impact on the way I think fascinates, right? Because it's not just, oh, I'm in a bad mood. I'm in an unproductive mood. That's not my reality. My reality is I know I can choose certain things that put me in a different headspace. So this concept of Blue Mind fed into that for me. I discovered that book. It nearly fell off the shelf. And it really resonated with me. I started reading it, and I had this deep desire to meet this author. He got together with neuroscientists and looked at why the science, the marine biology science part of water, and how it affects us really in our brain. So for our science, and I know you have a rich science background, Erin, makes sense to you. What actually happens, what's firing in our brains when we're in near or by the water. And we know that it has huge health implications, lower blood pressure. We're more calm, we sleep better. And we're not even talking about getting in the water. It's like how water affects PTSD. There's a program called Operation Surf now that's part of this Blue Mind movement. There are hundreds of nonprofits around the world that collaborate under the Blue Mind umbrella. It's a movement. And so it is a way for all people. I come from the coaching perspective. We have people who are artists, surfers, divers, MDs, PhDs, psychologists, and we all come together. There's a summit once a year. This year it was up in Wisconsin. That was the second one I attended. Next year, Miami, which is way in my backyard. And so these amazing people come together and have fabulous presenters, and we take a look at why this is important to all of us, which leads back to we protect what we love. The more we share our love for the water and all that's connected, you may be a wildlife person, you may be a sun worshiper, it doesn't matter, artist who paints, but through each one of us has a role. So coming together, I have established this rich tribe of people, cross-discipline, one of which was the gentleman I went on the diving trip with. So he is a world-renowned photographer. His name is Henthorne. It's Henthorne. All his focus is where land meets water. He does black and whites. It's phenomenal. So that, for whoever's listening, that I think that might be fascinating. Another little something that I wanted to share was there is an organization now called Force Blue. And Force Blue, F-O-R-C-E, Force Blue. This is, so all these military high-end operatives, right? So Navy SEALs and the best of the best, the most highly trained. When people make a career of that and then they come out and they're veterans, really hard to function in this world. Like, what's important after that, right? Living under those things. So a vet understood that we were in big trouble with the health of our oceans today. And he wanted to think of a way to incorporate these beautiful minds and this talent in a way that could save these reefs. So he pulled together these veterans. They're all special ops guys, and they have a team of scuba divers now that go on missions to replant the reefs worldwide. They just did their first dive in the Caymans.
Really?
Phenomenal.
Whoa.
So, we hear a lot of negative news today. This was something that crosses across every political line, socioeconomic line. These are unifying kind of things. So for me, Blue Mind has really become a core piece of my value. It's what lights me up. People need to find what lights them up, and they need to allow that. What comes out of that are rich personal opportunities for growth, rest and relaxation. For me, it's like summer camp for adults, which I absolutely love. Like, can you imagine summer camp in exotic places with like brainiacs? It's like for me.
It's like the forever like girlfriend slumber party.
That's that. And then, you know, and coming together and hearing about all this gorgeous work people are doing to change the world. My mission is to change the world by touching as many people as possible. So I work with leaders. Everyone's a leader in their own life. As I identify talented people, I know that if I'm doing one-on-one workshop setting or coaching a team, as I work in all those capacities, through every person I work with, they are going to step out then and do the same. And I can have that pebble in the pond kind of affinity effect because I'm only one person. So finding my sweet spot and then sharing in the best way I know possible is incredibly fulfilling. And so that's, you know, somebody asks about my life. It's all made up, right? It's all made up. Mm-hmm. I made it up. And having the courage, and when I talk about tribe, I want to make this point. You know, a lot of your listeners may or may not know about coaching or personal development. You can never underemphasize the quality of your tribe. And so you're not always having naysayers around you. You've got a major, you know, I don't want to use the word cheerleader because it's so overused, but people with credibility who will look at you and say, yeah, you can do that. Why can't you do that? Right? And take it one step at a time. So I just work at turning the keys for the people that I work with. And just grateful, just very grateful to do the work that I do.
Well, it's not hard to see that you probably actually make the little keys themselves. The people probably give you the metal for the keys and then you help carve them out.
Little locksmith. Yes. Little locksmith in me. You know,
and Ashley says everybody needs a cheerleader for sure. It's so true. And, you know, you and I, in the exchange of a cup of coffee, I mean, I'm not lying, people, when I tell you that this lady changed my life in the course of a cup of coffee. And it's crazy how that key gets turned and how, you know, I talk all the time about shifting perspectives, but this lady shifts mine. And this lady makes me think in a different way, and she puts details in front of me that I would never think of. And you know, I feel like I'm a fairly detail-oriented person, and I find things and shifts and workarounds to a lot of different problems or challenges or road bumps or potholes or whatever you want to call them. But I'm telling you what, I value Jeneen so much because of her ability to quickly see another way, something that I never even thought of, something that I can't see. And I feel that it's all part of incorporating this blue mind mentality. Mm-hmm. Her crazy background, unbelievable tool set, you know, that she incorporates, and she brings all those things together in her coaching with her clients. And she is very cross
industry
platform, cross industry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, a lot of us are very focused on who we deal with, and Jeneen's got a pretty cool, you know, her niche is, she's got a niche, but it's cross industry. Most of us out there are very industry niched, mm-hmm. which is another way of flipping and incorporating that blue mind mentality.
Yes.
You know, when you are going out and trying to figure out what you're doing and who your niche is, Jeneen's like the not normal industry standard as far as she is cross industry.
Normal is not used in a sentence with my name on. Erin, I have to say, likes attract, my friend. So back at you with what you're saying. And you're right. And look, we can never have perspective on ourselves. That's the beauty, right? And you can't, you just can't. You can't see it. You can see things in others.
Yeah.
That's why you must reach out and identify who your key stakeholders in your life are. It's important, and should not be left to chance. You're worth it as an individual. We're all worth it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's so pure. It's so there's a beautiful thing that comes with age. For years, I prayed for age. I didn't pray for age. Prayed for grace and wisdom, and it's coming together at some point here.
It's gonna merge, isn't it? There's gonna be an intersection soon.
It's a beautiful place to be. Yeah. So I obviously love people. Welcome the opportunity to work in any. We can customize things. Do a lot of collaborative work. So if you're a coach or a leader within your organization, really want to bring a new perspective or some real leadership work or personal work to your team, something that we can craft together. And I'm all about training the trainer. So to prop that person up as the front person and to serve as the resource, because that's really important, because that team is going to go on, and that's, so I look for those opportunities, welcome them, and every day is a new adventure. So
but you are amazing, my friend. Do you have anything you want to tell our people? I know that they can get you via your website, which is jmmconsulting.co, not com. Which is right there on the screen. But yeah, jmmconsulting.co, Facebook, JMM Consulting. It's a great place to connect. There's some resources there that people might be interested in. Love to connect. I do some live, so would welcome the opportunity to connect with anyone that way. Headed to Peru in a couple of weeks, so that will be my next spot, so you can look for me there. And it's super fun to watch your updates on where you're at and what you're doing. And I know you and I talk a little bit more frequently than me just checking out your updates, which is awesome. But it's really fun to tag along and see where you're at and who you're talking, you know what I mean? Like what you're doing in the places that you're at and the experiences that you have and how you incorporate that. And it's really, really cool. And I'm going to cut this short. We're running close to our time here. I want to honor the people that have been on. Ashley says she loves all of this. So that's fantastic. And, I really want to thank you for being with us today and being part of the Perspective Shifters interview here. And I have adored our time together, my friend.
Thank you for what you do. Erin.
I love you, my friend. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. We'll see you back here next Thursday at 1 o'clock. And have a great week, everybody.
See you later, Erin.
Bye, honey.